Welcome to the Peace and Possibilities podcast. This is Julie Bruns, and you are about to be inspired. I am so excited to share my conversations with amazing people from all walks of life who figured out how to be happy, peaceful, and content doing work they love and making the world a better place so that you can see what's possible for your life. I can't wait to hear what you think. Send me an email and let me know one thing you're taking away from this episode. And never forget, anything really is possible. All right, welcome everyone. My guest this week is Cynthia James. And Cynthia and I think I may have heard of your work years ago, Cynthia. I can't be sure, but I'm almost positive just because of all the books I read and the things I've been involved in. But last year I was in your Year of Miracles, Marcy and Sue, and I loved that program. And you came on, and I forget what month it was and what the subject was, but you came on and spoke, and I loved your energy, and I loved that program. It was so cool. I'm glad I did it last year. And I had Marcy on my podcast too, and some other people that she knows. So it's been fun. It's been a fun year. And then some of your team reached out and said you wanted to be a guest on my podcast, which I thought was so cool. So that's why you're here. And thank you for being here.
I'm so grateful to be with you. And I love to be on the Year of Miracles and love Marcy and Sue. So this is great. Thank you.
So fun. I love it. Yes, I met so many cool people doing that program. So I'm just going to give a shout out real quick. So Your Year of Miracles is the name of the program, and it's always it's every year, and it's just a really great way to spend time and energy learning about yourself and how powerful you are. And I just wanted to give a shout out. I wasn't planning on doing it, but all of a sudden I'm like, I need to tell more people about it because it was such a cool program. Okay, so let's get into our discussion. Tell everyone what you do, and how you figured it out. I know obviously you've had, I don't know a ton about your entire career, but I just want you to share with people what you do. And did you always see yourself doing the work you're doing now?
Okay, so I'm a coach, an author, speaker, and a performing artist. And no, definitely not. I did not see myself, excuse me. As a kid, it was more about survival. There was a lot of stuff going on in my childhood and violence and all kinds of other stuff. So my only job in my mind was get out. How do I get out of here? And I saw myself as a singer and an actress. And so I would kind of go into my own fantasy world, and I'd see myself traveling around the world, and I'd see myself on stages, and I would hold brushes and make them microphones and make my cousins listen to me sing. But where I am today is like a little bit far from there.
Oh, that's so funny. I used to do that too. We had this big mirror in our living room. I have a bunch of sisters, and we all used to put on disco music and records. And then we'd stand in front of this. The whole wall was a mirror. It was it's how it was when we moved in. But we'd all take our same thing on brushes and microphones, and we'd stand in front and dance and sing. It's so funny. That's funny. Okay, so you wanted to get out, and then so you're in school and you're growing up where you're like, I want to do this, or I want to get out, but once I get out, or did you not dream that big because you just wanted to get out and you were surviving in the beginning when you were studying and going to school or figuring out what kind of job you wanted? How did you do that?
There was a lot of surviving, but I learned pretty early that, because I was kind of shy as a kid. So I learned pretty early, though, that the people who had the most energy and the most engagement were the most popular and got to do a lot of things. So I sort of created I joined the chess club, and I joined the debate club, and I joined the choir, and I started doing modeling at a department store because I figured that it was a way for me to grow, but it was more importantly a way for me to not have to be hiding so much internally.
Ooh, I love that. Well, who gave you the strength and the gumption, I guess, moxie to go do that, being shy and being more introverted? So you knew you needed to do that? Was someone saying you should do that and encouraging you, or were you just like, I know I need to do this, so I'm going to go join these clubs?
Well, part of it was I just knew I needed to do it. But the other was I had a grandmother who was really, I'm going to call her psychic because I don't have any other word for it. And she would tell me, oh no, you're going to be on mountaintops and you're going to be with people. And she took me to my first play where I could see Black people on stage, Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee, and they were doing Pearly Victorious. And I was like, whoa. And then she took me to tea leaf readers who told me I was going to have this big life. And so it was kind of like she was planting seeds, and it made no sense to me because I'm on welfare and, finding the right stuff to wear to school was a big deal. But she was completely sure that I had come here to do something great.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's so cool. So when you finally said, okay, so you were a performer first, or what did you do first, and how did you wind up where you are now, speaking and writing and all of that?
Well, I was an airline hostess for an airline that's no longer around called Trans World Airlines. And so I started traveling.
TWA.
Yeah, TWA. Yeah. And so I started traveling, and I always wanted to sing, but it was kind of, I had sung in school, in high school, and I had sung when I started to go to college, but I wasn't sure how to navigate becoming professional. So it was kind of still a dream. And then I ran into this person. I won this contest. I was Miss Minnesota Universe. And when I won, I met this person who had a group, a singing group, and they traveled around the country. And so I traveled with them, and I got all this stage experience, and ended up in Las Vegas, and ended up in a show called Hallelujah Hollywood. And I was the understudy for the lead. And so all the stuff I had done, these classes and dancing and acting and all that stuff, paid off because I made a living. Being a dancer in Vegas is interesting, but it was an incredible experience for me. And then that kind of launched me into my acting career and really traveling as a singer for quite some time.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. What do you think? What do you think made you successful, knowing your background in your childhood and surviving and being on welfare? What do you think? What was it besides your grandma, predicting and kind of seeing, like basically encouraging you? What else? What made you successful early on? What made you say, okay, I'm going to go work for this airline. I'm going to go try out for this. You met Miss Minnesota Universe. You obviously had to go. What's the word when you not try out, but when you get into you have to a contest like that. I don't even know what
you have to apply and be interviewed and all that other stuff.
Yeah. So
here's the thing. I think at heart, I'm a risk taker. And for some reason, my brain doesn't go, "Ooh, that's too scary to go there." I'd be like, "Oh, I'll try that." I think that's who I came here to be. And so after I would get into stuff, I'd go, "Oh, wow, this is harder than I thought." But I think because I was a risk taker, and because I always felt like I was taken care of and protected. So when I interviewed for TWA, it was just because I wanted to travel. I didn't even think I'd get picked, and so every time along the way, it was like, well, let me just try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it does work, there could be great things here.
I love that. I kind of had I was the same way. Even in high school, I can remember 14, 15 years old, just like, I'm just going to try that. And I wouldn't even talk to a lot of people about it. I would just try this. And I have a story about that in my book. Like, I'm not even going to tell anyone. I'm just going to try that. I'm going to try this. And if it doesn't work, like you said, you try it. And if it does work, it could be really cool. So why not? Yeah, I never thought of myself as a risk taker, but I guess the way you're relating it that way, that is what it is. But it didn't really feel to me like risking anything, because I didn't feel like I didn't have it. So it's like, if I risk it and take this risk and maybe get it, great. And if I don't, I'm back to where I was, which was I didn't have it anyway. So it didn't really feel like a big risk. Right.
Yeah. Listen, when a photographer put my name in for Miss Minnesota Universe, I was so sure I wasn't going to get it. I didn't tell anybody except my mother and my grandmother and my brother. And so when I won, my family, my friends were going, "What? You did what?" Because it was like, well, I got nothing to lose, but why not go out there and try?
Yes, I did the same thing. So I was in my early 20s, and the Chicago Bulls had this, I don't know if they still have them. I think they do dancers called the Lovables. And I was a dancer and cheerleader in high school. And I'm like, I can do this, So same thing. I didn't tell anyone. And this was back in the day where there were no cell phones. I just got in my car, drove down to the city and waited in line with 200 people. I'm like, all right, I'm just doing this. And I wrote a story about it. And I got like to 16 to the top 16. And then after that, they picked 16 girls. Then we had to work out with them for a month. And then they picked, I think 12, and I didn't make it. But I got that far. And then I was telling everyone, I'm like, all right, I'm going downtown to practice with Chicago level bowls. They're like, what? I'm like, yes, I think I might actually be doing this. And then it didn't, but it was still so fun that I got that close. And then I, just tried it and was able to, take a risk and see what happened. And I got really close. And then it just opened my eyes to what else is out there. And if I can try that and get that close, what else can I do? And it's a fun lesson. And you don't ever know. And that's why I tell people when they say, well, so-and-so says I probably can't do that. I'm like, stop listening to so-and-so.
That's right.
I'm like, listen to this. And if you really think you want to do it, and even if you can't do it and you tried, at least you can say, I tried and I was brave to try. But stop listening to the people that say you can't or you shouldn't or whatever it is. Stop talking and listening to them.
Yeah, the naysayers will pull your frequency down.
Yes.
Stay connected to the dream.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Stay connected to the dream. Okay, so let's talk about, I'm sure people ask you for advice all the time. What advice do you have for someone that's, whether they're young or even mid-career or at the end, and they're trying to figure out what they want to do for the next 20 years or whatever it is? What do you say to them when they give me some advice? I want to have a great career like you have, or, what advice do you tell people at any age?
First thing I want to say is, what lights you up? What are you passionate about? What brings you joy? What would you do without making a dime because it excites you?
Yeah.
Put your attention there and the universe will sync up with you. And miracles and unexpected invitations and things will begin to come just because you are in that field of your passion.
That's so true. I totally believe it. And then when people don't, and then they end up staying stuck in somewhere where they don't want to be, and they're like, how did I end up here? It's like, well, because you're not going for, like you said, the thing that lights you up or the things that brings you joy. And all of a sudden you think you can't have anything else because you're kind of used to not having the thing you want or that lights you up or whatever.
Yeah, then you keep recreating it. You keep recreating it because now the belief system is in there as I can't win, I can't grow, I can't, but the thing is like, keep your mind on the can. I can do what I love. I can step up. I can step out. I can bring my voice. I can.
I love it. Keep your mind on the can. It's another beautiful way to think and way to just kind of be in the world. Like, maybe I can. Maybe, maybe it doesn't work out, but yes, keep your mind on the can. I love that. That's a great slogan. Okay. So is there anything you wish you'd learned in your life or career sooner? Any big thing that you were like, I know that we always get the lessons when we're ready for them, but is there something you're like, oh gosh, that thing?
Yeah. I wish I had known that fear was nothing but energy and information, that it doesn't have to define you. It doesn't have to stop you. It's just an energy. And you can choose in any moment to move beyond that energy. I love, Nike's thing, just do it. Athletes get afraid. They hit slumps, but you just keep moving. And so that's, when the fear comes in, when the doubt comes in, it's just energy. I remember when I started singing on large stages, I would get nervous before I went on to the stage. And then I just had this thought, well, what if the fear is excitement? What if I can take that onto the stage as opposed to allowing that fear energy to shut me down? So I guess that's what I would want anybody to know. Reframe it, enthusiasm and excitement for what you love to do and that you get to be in service in this moment.
I love that. I think it would be a great way to replace the word anxiety. People say, oh, I'm anxious, I have anxiety. It's like, no, you're excited. You might be a little bit nervous. Anxiety, it's like, it's overused in my opinion. It's like, when people label it like that, it's like, no, it's being a human being. You're excited, you're nervous, you're whatever it is. Like, yeah, reframe it and use it for an advantage. I was listening to this podcast last week about this woman called and said she's a horse jumper, like she's a competitive horse rider. And she's like, I get nervous. Oh, I think she fell off the horse or something. And she's like, I'm getting nervous and I'm really good at what I do, but now I'm getting afraid to get on this horse and be in these competitions. And she was being recommended, she's like, can I have hypnotherapy be to not be scared, to not be nervous or whatever. And she was like, why? If you take away that nervousness and that little fear that you have, that you need that for the adrenaline. You need that, like the athletes need that, like you said, on stage, on a court, wherever it is, you need that to be able to perform and like have clarity and have that take the risk. And if you take that away so that you don't feel it at all, her point was the horse is going to feel that you're not ready. Like if you take all the energy away that gives you the clarity and the focus that you need in that moment, the horse is going to feel that you're not going to have what you need. And now you are going to probably get hurt and not perform well. You don't want that fear to go away. You want to be able to fear it. What's like face the fear and do it anyways or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to have it. Your body needs it so that you can produce what you need to do the next thing. You don't want it to go away. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's such a great lesson, because a lot of us would say, it'd be nice if I wasn't nervous. It'd be nice if I wasn't scared of this, but away goes the fear and then you're not prepared.
That's right. And by the way, animals and the environment you are in respond to your frequency and your energy.
For sure.
And so you get to decide how you want to walk into a space, how you want to deal in a relationship. You get to choose how you want to make a choice. And then the environment and the universe will sync up with it.
Yes. Yes. They're responding to your energy. Anything around you, animals, people are responding to your energy. So when people always say like, all I'm getting is negative, whatever, it's like, you're inviting that. And people say, how would I invite that? Of course, I don't want that. It's like something you're doing is giving off that that energy, that frequency, and you're getting a response to it. So you have to change it. It's the only way you're going to get anything different. Yeah. So that's definitely one thing I wish I had learned a lot earlier about the energy and how you can manifest and create what you want in your life. I wish I had learned that in my early 20s. It's another reason I wrote my book too. Like, wake up and do it now. It's a lot more fun when you figure it out sooner, right?
Exactly.
It's so good to talk to you. I didn't know all of that about your past with the performing and all that. That's so cool that it's like you've accomplished a lot and you've done a lot of different things, and it's just cool to talk to people that have just had a lot of different experiences, and instead of just like deciding you're going to do one thing and then 30 years later you've done it. It's just so much more interesting to have different experiences.
Yeah. And here's the thing, we're evolutionary. So we are not put here just to do the same thing all the time. We're here to evolve and to grow. And so the thing is, you can actually just say yes to your life and move with it, and it will take you on a glorious adventure.
I totally agree. I love that. Okay, so final question for you. What's one new thing you're taking away from our conversation today? So after these 20 minutes we've talked, is there anything that you're reminded of, or?
Yeah, I want to give thanks for the courageous soul that I am and the courageous soul that lives in everyone. That we get to tap into our bravery and step out and trust that the net will appear.
I love that. It's really the only way to be. I mean, if you just kind of shrivel up and don't trust and don't take a risk and don't believe that you're going to be protected and safe, then you're not really living. Like there's a saying from the Shawshank Redemption movie, like, get busy living or get busy dying. Because if we're not right, like what are you here to do every day? If you're just going to turn away and not be brave and not take any risks, like what's the point?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
So, all right. So where can people, tell me about what you're doing now. You have a book. Do you have a podcast?
Yes, I have a podcast called Women Awakening. We're on iTunes, iHeart, Spreaker, YouTube. And also my new book, I'm going to show you. My new book is Does My Voice Matter?
Ooh.
And it's for anybody who's ever questioned that their presence on the planet is significant. And it really, it journals and chronicles my life and the lessons I've learned and what was happening culturally. And I just want everybody to know that whatever's going on culturally right now is impacting us, and we get to choose how we want to move through it. So that's what this entire book is, and it's got all kinds of tools in it.
I love that. It's called Your Voice Matters. I love
Does
that.
My Voice Matter?
Awesome. Does My Voice Matter? Okay. And then your podcast is called Women Awakening?
Women Awakening.
I love
and
that.
They can find me at cynthiajames.net.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, it was so fun to talk to you, and I loved getting to know you better, and I'm really glad we met. And I'm sure, I don't know if you're still doing work with your miracles, but obviously hearing your lessons and hearing your experiences and your great energy is good for everyone. So I'm hoping you're still doing that.
Yeah, well, anytime I'm invited by Marcy or Sue to do anything, it's a yes. And so
Yes, it's awesome.
grateful.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Cynthia. It's been a pleasure.
My honor to be with you.
Take care, everyone. Bye. Thanks for listening. I hope you loved this episode. Don't forget to like us, subscribe, review, and share it. I hope you were truly inspired. And for a little more inspiration, don't forget to pick up my book, Peace, Possibilities, and Perspective: 8 Secrets to Serenity and Satisfaction in Your Life and Career. I can't wait to get you love in your life.